Have you ever met someone and felt an instant, almost unexplainable connection? Maybe it was a friend, a partner, or even a stranger who crossed your path just once. But something about them felt familiar, as if your souls recognized each other. Before your minds could make sense of it, why do we feel so deeply drawn to certain people, even when we've just met? Across centuries, spiritual traditions, from ancient Hindu teachings to Buddhist philosophies, and even modern metaphysical science, have quietly suggested one stunning possibility. You've met them before, not in this life, but in a past one. Think about that. What if your deepest connections, the people who challenge you, uplift you, or even break you, are not random? What if they're part of an ancient soul contract, one written long before you took your first breath? In this video, we're diving into the mysterious truth behind reincarnation and soul relationships, uncovering why certain people show up in your life again, what purpose they serve, and how you can recognize the signs of a past life bond. But, more importantly, we'll explore what this means for your healing, your growth, and your spiritual journey right now. You'll learn the subtle but powerful markers that hint someone was with you before, and why they've returned. Whether it's a lover who feels like home, a child with eyes older than time, or even someone you struggle with, this might not be your first story together. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at your relationships the same way again. So if you've ever whispered, "Why does this person feel so familiar?" Stay with me, because the answer might just shift everything. Long before modern psychology began mapping relationships, ancient spiritual teachings were already exploring the soul's eternal journey and how certain people travel with us again and again across lifetimes. In Hinduism, the concept of samsara describes a cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, not as punishment, but as opportunity. Each life is a classroom, and the people we meet, they're often our co-learners, our teachers, and/or our karmic mirrors. Buddhism, too, speaks of karma not as fate, but as cause and effect across time. Relationships are not random, they're threads from past lives still weaving themselves into the present. A lover now may have been a sibling, a teacher, or even an adversary before. And in ancient Greece, Plato wrote about the soul being split in two, spending lifetimes searching for its other half. While this idea later morphed into the twin flame concept, its root speaks to a deeper knowing that love, real soul love, transcends time. But how does this actually work? Are we really cycling through relationships with the same souls again and again? Spiritual seers and mystics suggest we incarnate in soul groups, small circles of spirits who agree to evolve together through different roles and lifetimes. One lifetime you may be the parent, the next the child, sometimes the hero, sometimes the villain. These relationships aren't always easy. In fact, many of the most intense ones, the ones that burn hot, fast, or painfully, are the most karmic. They're here to help us heal old wounds, close unfinished stories, or learn lessons we resisted before. This idea can be both comforting and challenging. Comforting, because it means you're never truly alone. The souls closest to you have walked beside you before. Challenging, because it invites a deeper level of responsibility. If someone triggers you deeply, what if they're not here to hurt you, but to awaken you? We often think of past lives as distant and mystical. But what if the clues are already here, embedded in the people we're closest to? Sometimes a child says something that startles you with its wisdom. Sometimes a stranger's eyes stop you in your tracks. And sometimes a person enters your life, and you just know this isn't the first time. The ancient world didn't question this. They trusted it. And maybe deep down, so do you. How can you tell if someone in your life today was part of your past life journey? It often starts with a feeling, subtle, strange, yet undeniable. You meet them, and there's no awkward beginning. No need for small talk. It's as if the conversation has already been happening, and you're just picking it back up. This is more than coincidence. It's resonance, like tuning forks vibrating. At the same frequency, your souls are remembering something your minds forgot. One of the most powerful signs is instant familiarity. You might say things like, "It feels like I've known you forever," or "Being with you just feels natural." These are more than poetic lines. They might be echoes from another life, another clue, emotional intensity that defies logic. Whether it's overwhelming love or inexplicable tension, karmic relationships often bypass the usual pace. You might fall in love fast or feel deeply challenged from day one. Either way, the energy moves quickly. Have you ever noticed a strong sense of déjà vu around someone? Places you've never been together feel weirdly familiar. Conversations feel rehearsed, like lines from an old play. These moments can be spiritual flashbacks, flickers from another lifetime. Pay attention to unusual synchronicities too. You meet by chance, but at the perfect time. You share dreams, birthdays, or even scars. Your lives may have overlapped before your meeting. Same cities, same people, same events, without ever crossing paths, until now. Children often exhibit strong signs of past life bonds. A toddler who clings to a specific adult, a child who speaks with uncanny wisdom or names places they've never seen. Sometimes the youngest among us remember the most. And then there's the lesson, the way this person changes you. Karmic connections often come with emotional tests. Maybe they trigger your deepest wounds, or teach you how to love without conditions. Either way, they shape your path. One of the most mystical signs is eye contact. Not just a glance, but a gaze that stirs something primal. As the saying goes, the eyes are the window to the soul. In that gaze, you may be looking through lifetimes. But remember, not all past life bonds are meant to last. Some arrive just to reopen a door or finally close one. If you've ever looked at someone and felt time collapse, trust that feeling. Maybe your soul whispering, "We've done this before." Not all soul connections are peaceful. In fact, some of the most significant ones arrive wrapped in chaos. These are the karmic relationships, fiery, turbulent, and often hard to forget. They're not here to make you comfortable. They're here to make you grow. Karmic relationships are rooted in unfinished business from previous lives. Maybe there was betrayal, abandonment, or a deep wound that was never healed. That story didn't end. And so, the souls return, seeking resolution in a new form. But healing isn't always gentle. Often, karmic connections ignite old pain so we can finally transform it. These are the relationships where you say, "Why can't I walk away?" Or, "Why does this hurt so much?" Even when the logic says leave, the soul says stay, there's more to learn. One of the hallmarks of karmic bonds is the repetition of painful patterns. You fight about the same things. The same emotional triggers keep flaring. It feels like a loop, because it is. A karmic loop that's asking to be broken. And yet, there's love there. Deep, confusing, magnetic love. You may feel both drawn to and repelled by this person. It's a push-pull that drains you but also opens you. Why would your soul choose something so difficult? Because evolution often requires friction. These relationships bring your shadow to the surface, your fear of abandonment, your need for control, your unhealed childhood wounds. The person isn't causing these wounds, they're revealing them. Some karmic partners are meant to stay, but many are not. They come like a spiritual storm, tearing through the old version of you so you can emerge clearer, stronger, and more whole. But only if you listen. Only if you learn. And once the lesson is complete, the grip loosens, the obsession fades, and you begin to see the gift hidden in the pain. It's easy to mistake karmic love for the one, but the true sign of a karmic bond isn't lasting harmony. It's emotional awakening. If this idea speaks to your journey, give this video a like so it reaches others who need it. Remember, the greatest teachers don't always arrive with kindness. Sometimes they arrive with a mirror and they stay just long enough for you to finally see yourself. While karmic bonds often bring fire, soulmate connections arrive with warmth, not to test you, but to remind you who you are. Contrary to the romantic myth, a soulmate isn't just the one. In fact, you can have multiple soulmates in one lifetime. A friend, a mentor, a sibling, or even a beloved pet. Soulmates come in many forms. What defines them isn't the title, it's the feeling. When you meet a soulmate, it feels like being seen for the first time. There's a deep unspoken understanding, as if the two of you share a private language written in another life. These connections are part of what many spiritual traditions call soul contracts, agreements made between souls before incarnation, outlining the roles we'll play in each other's lives. Some soulmates are here to support us through grief, through joy, or through transformation. Others arrive to spark a new path, a career change, a spiritual awakening, a leap of courage. They don't force us to grow. They inspire us to. The energy with a soulmate is rarely chaotic. Instead, it's steady, calming, and sacred. Even when you're apart, the bond doesn't dissolve. It just rests quietly, waiting for the next chapter. You may find that you and a soulmate have similar life themes. Perhaps you've both faced loss or share the same passions, or feel a strange alignment in values. It's not coincidence. It's a pre-agreed resonance. In many Buddhist interpretations, such relationships are seen as part of the interconnected web, souls linked not by chance, but by shared intention. You might help each other repay karmic debts from lives, past not through conflict but through love. And sometimes a soulmate shows up just when you need them most. Not early, not late, but in perfect timing. That too is part of the contract. Have you ever met someone and felt like they completed something in you, even if you couldn't explain what? That's the quiet grace of a soulmate. But don't romanticize it. Soulmates still challenge you, but they challenge you gently. They hold up the mirror with kindness. They walk beside you not to fix you, but to remember with you. If you've experienced this kind of bond, let me know in the comments below, because sometimes the most healing love isn't the loudest. It's the one that feels like coming home. Few soul connections stir as much fascination or as much emotional upheaval as the concept of the twin flame. Unlike soulmates who are companions on the journey, twin flames are said to be a single soul split into two bodies, two flames, one origin. And when they find each other, something electric happens, and not just emotionally but spiritually. Meeting your twin flame isn't like meeting anyone else. There's a magnetic pull, a raw intensity, and a sense of inner recognition that can't be ignored. It's not just chemistry, it's alchemy. But here's the paradox. Twin flame connections are rarely peaceful at first. In fact, they often trigger your deepest fears, insecurities, and shadows. That's because they reflect not only your light, but every part of yourself you've tried to hide. It's like staring into a soul mirror. Every part of you is magnified. You might experience what's called the runner-chaser dynamic. One person feels overwhelmed and pulls away, while the other tries to hold on. Then the roles reverse. This cycle can last for years, lifetimes even, until both are ready to evolve together. The twin flame journey isn't about romance. It's about awakening. And here's the truth most people overlook. Not all twin flames are meant to be partners. Some meet briefly, then part. Some are family, some are friends. Their purpose isn't always to stay. It's to ignite transformation. In spiritual terms, the meeting of twin flames often triggers a kundalini awakening, a surge of spiritual energy that brings buried emotions to the surface and begins burning away illusion. Yet it's not easy, but it's sacred. If you've ever been in a connection that felt like both heaven and hell, where you felt more you than ever before, but also more raw and broken, you may have encountered your twin flame. But how do you? No, it's not just the emotional intensity. It's the change. Twin flames push each other toward truth. They don't let you hide. They don't let you settle. They don't let you sleepwalk through life. They arrive to wake you up, to your power, your purpose, your shadow, your soul. And if both people rise to the challenge, the reunion can be breathtaking. If this resonates with your path, stay with me. We'll explore how to recognize these soul markers more clearly in a moment, because sometimes the love that burns the most is the one that shapes who you become. If we've truly known these people before, if our souls have shared lifetimes, love stories, and heartbreak, then why don't we remember? Why can't we just know? This is one of the most profound paradoxes in spiritual life. We forget so we can remember. Imagine if you entered this life with full knowledge of every past experience, every joy, betrayal, death, and reunion. The emotional weight would be overwhelming, and the choices you make wouldn't be free. They'd be influenced by old patterns. For the soul to grow, it needs a clean slate, or at least the illusion of one. So when we incarnate, we pass through what some spiritual traditions Call the veil of forgetting. This veil gently erases conscious memory of our soul's past, allowing us to re-engage with life freshly, openly, and bravely. But memory isn't gone. It's just buried in dreams, in symbols, in intuition. That sudden feeling of recognition, that dream that felt more real than waking life, the inexplicable pull towards someone, or the overwhelming aversion. These are fragments of soul memory rising to the surface, and the deeper you go into self-awareness, through meditation, healing, silence, or loss, the thinner that veil becomes. There's also a spiritual timing to memory. You often remember when you're ready, when your soul has matured enough to integrate the truth without being consumed by it. That's why some people meet their soulmates at 60, or rediscover a past life connection in the middle of grief. The soul remembers through emotion, through art, through the quiet moment of looking into someone's eyes and feeling tears you can't explain. Children are sometimes closer to this remembering. Before the world tells them what's real or rational, they speak freely about people who used to be their family, or dreams of other places they've never seen. Many spiritual teachers believe this is their soul speaking, before the veil thickens, but memory can also be invited back. Practices like past life regression, deep meditation, or even mindful journaling can open a space for remembering, not as fantasy, but as a deeper truth trying to re-emerge. And when it does, suddenly things begin to make sense. The pain, the love, the timing, all of it becomes part of a larger design. We forget so we can choose again, so we can love again, so we can grow beyond who we've been. You don't have to be a monk, mystic, or medium to see past life connections. Often they show up in the most ordinary moments, hidden in plain sight. Start with your patterns. Who do you attract? Again and again, in different faces, the same emotional blueprints seem to repeat. A partner who withdraws, a friend who betrays, a mentor who saves you and disappears. At first it looks like bad luck, but what if it's not? What if your soul is replaying scenes it never finished? Recognizing soul patterns begins with awareness. You start to see the echoes, not just what people do, but what they activate in you. That co-worker who triggers your anger, that sibling who always makes you feel invisible, they may be tapping into unresolved stories from before. Every reaction is a breadcrumb. Notice the roles that appear in your life. Are you always the caretaker, the abandoned one, the fixer? These roles aren't accidents, they're familiar. Identities your soul may have worn across lifetimes. The more you repeat a role, the more it's asking to be rewritten. Also pay attention to timing. Some people arrive at critical moments, just when you're about to give up or take a leap or face a crisis. It's no coincidence. Their presence may be part of a soul contract designed to nudge you forward. Have you ever had a conversation with someone that felt larger than the moment? Words that felt guided? This too can be soul communication. Dreams often reveal these bonds. You may dream of a person you barely know, but in the dream they're your parent, your lover, your enemy. You wake up with an emotion that lingers, even if the dream fades. That emotion is a soul memory surfacing. And then there are the missed connections. Someone you keep almost meeting, someone who brushes past your life repeatedly, but never quite lands. These are the souls circling your field, waiting for the right alignment. The beauty is you don't need to analyze every relationship. Just ask, what am I meant to learn here? When you approach life with this question, the patterns begin to speak. The chaos becomes choreography, and slowly the people around you are revealed not as random, but as sacred participants in your evolution. So start looking, not with suspicion, but with wonder, because when you see through the eyes of the soul, nothing is just coincidence anymore. Sometimes a person reappears in your life after years, or even decades, and you feel that familiar pull, that spiritual déjà vu. Other times you meet someone new, but the emotional bond is immediate, deep and strangely familiar, as if they've come back not just from your past, but from your past life. Why does this happen? Because the soul seeks completion, unfinished lessons, unspoken truths, forgiveness. Never granted, love never fully expressed. All of these energies can remain alive in the soul's memory even across lifetimes. And when the moment is right, when both souls are ready, they meet again to finally complete what was left undone. This is why you might suddenly reconnect with an ex, an estranged family member, or an old friend out of nowhere. The universe is creating a doorway. The past is rising, not to haunt you but to heal you. These moments are powerful crossroads. You'll feel it in your body, the nervous energy, the heart racing, the sense that this is more than just a reunion. It's an opportunity for soul work. But here's the key. You're not the same person you were in the past, and neither are they. That's why the healing is possible now. You've both grown, even if in different directions, and through that growth, something new can emerge. A forgiveness, a boundary, a deeper understanding. In some cases, healing comes through reconnection, a conversation, a tearful release, a chance to say what was never said. In other cases, the healing comes through letting go, recognizing that the story has already served its purpose, and that peace doesn't always require reunion. Buddhist teachings remind us that clinging creates suffering, but wise remembrance creates freedom. So when someone from your past returns, whether in person, in dream, or even in thought, ask yourself, what wants to be healed here? What wants to be completed? These soul echoes don't return by accident. They return when the soul is ready. And sometimes, the most profound healing doesn't come from fixing the old bond, but from releasing it with love. If you've ever had someone reappear just when you were ready to grow, that's your soul inviting you to close an old loop. And when you do, you open space for the next sacred connection to arrive. It starts subtly, a glance that lingers, a voice that feels familiar, a conversation that flows as if you've picked it up mid-sentence from years ago, even though you've only just met. These are the first whispers of a soul recognition. You won't always know with your mind, but your body will tell you. Your heart will respond. And if you listen carefully, you'll sense it. This isn't our first meeting, so how can you tell? One clear marker is the feeling of time collapsing. Hours feel like minutes. A single meeting feels like a reunion. It's not just ease, it's intimacy without history. The connection doesn't need time to grow, it's already deep. You may also feel emotional intensity without a clear reason. Why do you trust this person so fast? Why does their pain affect you so deeply? Why do you care about their well-being like you've always known them? Because part of you has soul connections often come with a sense of shared purpose. You find yourselves walking similar paths, facing mirrored challenges, or being drawn to the same spiritual truths. Even if your lives look different, your inner journeys are uncannily aligned. Another sign is the presence of unspoken understanding. You finish each other's sentences, you feel each other's moods, you communicate with silence. And sometimes, even when you disagree, you can't shake the feeling that your souls are on the same team. Pay attention to the energy between you. Is there a sense of calm, recognition, or electricity? Soul-level connections often create a tangible field of energy. When you're together, the world shifts, just a little. You might also experience spiritual synchronicities, repeated numbers, symbols, songs, or dreams connected to that person. The universe has a language, and when a past life soul returns, it often announces itself in signs. But above all, trust your intuition. The logical mind may try to explain it away, but the heart knows. The soul knows. Have you ever looked into someone's eyes and felt like they held an entire story you couldn't remember? That's not fantasy. That's memory, deeper than thought, older than this life. So when that moment comes, when you feel that strange and sacred pull, don't rush to define it. Don't force it into a box. Just honor it, witness it, let it unfold, because recognizing a soul you've known before isn't about solving a mystery. It's about allowing a new chapter to begin in a story that started long ago. So you've felt it, that unmistakable resonance. You're almost certain this person was with you before. Now what? The first step is stillness, not reaction. Don't rush to define it, label it, or force it into a specific role. Past life connections unfold in layers. What seems romantic may become platonic. What seems fleeting may become life-changing. Let the story reveal itself. Next, observe your emotions. These relationships often stir up intense feelings: love, fear, longing, anger. Instead of getting swept away, ask, what is this connection asking me to feel? Sometimes it's about healing. Sometimes it's about learning a new kind of love. Resist the urge to idealize. Just because you share a past life bond doesn't mean this person is meant to stay forever, or that they're perfect for you now. The soul grows, the roles change. Trust what's true now, not just what was true then. Consider the purpose of the connection. Is it here to mirror something back to you? To teach you patience, trust, or letting go? These souls don't return randomly. They return with intention, and that purpose may be spiritual, not emotional. Be honest about boundaries. Even with deep soul ties, it's okay, and sometimes necessary, to protect your peace. If a past life bond is bringing more chaos than clarity, the lesson may be in walking away with love. If the connection feels healing, nurture it. Share openly. Explore the spiritual side together. You may find you unlock memories, insights, or paths that neither of you could have accessed alone. This is the magic of soul resonance. It accelerates awakening. You might even choose to do a past life regression or deep meditation to gain clarity, but this isn't required. Your soul already knows what it needs. What matters most is that you listen to your intuition, your emotions, your inner voice, and finally, stay humble. Soul recognition is sacred, but it doesn't make you superior. Everyone you meet is on a journey. Some you've walked with before, some you're meeting for the first time. Either way, treat each with reverence. If this idea speaks to your journey, give this video a like so it reaches others who may be on the verge of remembering too. Because when a soul returns, it's never just for you, it's for both of you. To complete, to evolve, to rise. You've felt the connection. You've sensed the past life energy. Now how do you move through it in a way that honors both your soul and your sanity? Here are 6 simple, powerful tools to help you stay grounded, aware, and spiritually aligned when navigating these deep relationships. The soul check-in. When emotions run high, pause and ask yourself, is this reaction coming from this life or another one? Often our intensity doesn't match the current situation. That's a sign of soul memory. Taking a breath and asking this question can help you respond from wisdom, not just history. The mirror journal. Keep a journal where you write down what this person brings out in you, both light and shadow. Ask, what do I feel around them? What do I fear? What part of myself do they reflect? This will help you decode the soul lesson behind the connection, especially in karmic bonds. The energetic cord meditation. Visualize a cord of light connecting you to this person. Then ask, is this cord draining or nourishing me? If it's draining, gently imagine releasing it with love and gratitude. You're not cutting them off emotionally. You're simply reclaiming your energy. The spiritual dialogue. If the connection is too painful to speak out loud, try writing. A letter to their soul. You can say everything you feel, the love, the anger, the questions. You don't have to send it. The act of writing brings release, and their higher self will receive the energy. The timing trust. Remind yourself, just because this is real doesn't mean it's meant to last. Past life bonds often feel urgent, but urgency can cloud clarity. Trust the divine timing of the relationship. If it's meant to evolve, it will. If it's complete, let it complete. The sacred boundaries rule set boundaries, even with soulmates. Being spiritually connected doesn't mean tolerating chaos. If someone is hurting you or disturbing your peace, that's part of your soul growth too. Learning when to say no with love. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and whisper this affirmation. If we have known each other before, may this chapter bring healing, peace, and clarity for both of us. This small act invites the highest possible unfolding, because soul connections aren't just about love, they're about evolution, and your soul knows exactly what it came here to do. You've walked with them before. through lifetimes, landscapes, and layers of time. Your souls have crossed paths, written stories, and left pages unfinished. And now here you are, and meeting again, not by accident, not by chance, but by sacred design. Whether the connection is joyful or challenging, brief or lifelong, it's here to serve something greater, your soul's awakening. The people who feel familiar, they're mirrors of who you were and who you're becoming. And maybe, just maybe, the pain you felt around them isn't proof that something's wrong, but proof that something important is unfolding. Because every soul you meet carries a key. Some unlock your joy, others your wounds. But all of them, in some way, are leading you home, to your truth, to your growth, to your soul. So the next time someone enters your life and shakes something in you, pay attention. That sensation, that pull, that spark, it might just be your soul whispering, we've been here before, and there's something beautiful still to learn. If this journey moved you, like this video and share your thoughts in the comments. Has someone ever entered your life and felt like a memory you hadn't made yet? And if you want more reflections like this, more guidance through the mysteries of the soul, subscribe for weekly spiritual wisdom. Because even when we part, the story never really ends.